Okay, we'll be waiting a little bit for people to join. We good. We should be good. We should be good. Okay. Where is the group? Okay. Okay. Anyway, let's get right into the action. I won't wait for anyone else. Hello everyone, I'm Feño from the Fight Site, and this is the Early Prelims podcast. We're here on Monday 13, January of 2025. So we had our first UFC event of the year. It was Mackenzie Dern against Amanda Ribas, the rematch for the fight that happened 5 years ago. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about a few fight announcements and a little bit of 311. Obviously, I won't go into details about UFC 311 because the full preview is coming out hopefully tomorrow. So that's the deal. So our main event, let's get right into it. It was Mackenzie Dern against Amanda Ribas, the rematch, as I just said, and I didn't like this fight a lot. The story of this fight was like, obviously, for those that don't know, Amanda Ribas dominated their first encounter with better striking, being safe from top position. All around, just a good performance by Ribas the first time around. She was beating Dern with her jab, having better fundamentals in her striking. And this the second time around, some people were speculating about Amanda Ribas deteriorating when it came to her style, and I think those people were right. Ribas did not look great here, did not look as good as the first time, and the other fight was 5 years around, so it's very clear that Amanda Ribas is not improving. Dern, on the other hand, did not look much better than the first time around. um, we have talked about how her jab has improved under Jason Parillo, but other than that, Dern hasn't improved a lot either. And this fight was like both girls blitzing from the outside, shifting, not keeping their feet under them. So, and he was, for her credit, he was at least kept maintain her judo chops because she's like a decent level, high level judo black belt. And we saw another appearance of the Harai Gochi here, wizard kick from the overhook as a counter to Mackenzie Dern trying to enter with the body lock just like in their first fight. The finish was cool, an armbar, like slowly set up armbar. He was trying to stack, but she got eventually swept. And from the mount, Mackenzie Dern is actually very, very good. So, and there was like some good strategies because Dern was like keeping keeping like the threat on the arm, but she was also like attacking with ground and pound, and she has a very good mount, so Ribas was not able to shrug her off. I think Ribas should have tried to give up her back, even though the armbar is still there, right? But to create movement, to create space, because like, to be honest, like Ribas just too good from those positions, so you don't want to give her that. So yeah, good for Mackenzie Dern to win this rematch. To be honest, like, she doesn't look very improved. I feel like it looked at one moment like her striking was like coming along under Perillo, but then she had a lot of drama in her life. She left Perillo, back with Perillo. I don't know. I didn't think much of her striking here, to be honest, and neither her wrestling. She shined with her Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but we already knew that she's like a very good grappler, right? So it is what it is. I never liked it like this as a main event, to be honest. So it is what it is. Let's move into co-main event. Co-main event was Santiago Ponzinibbio against Carlston Harris in the jank weight division. This was contested at welterweight. Ponzinibbio, you know, he was on a very good streak for a while. Then I think he had staph on his leg and also like a blood disease or something. And when he came back, he was never the same, man. He got chinned by the leash, and it's probably like having an effect on the amount of training that he can get done, because he looked pretty athletic here, but he looks like he runs out of ideas. He just tries the same stuff. He just blitzes with the 3 or the 1 and puts the 2 behind, goes to the body sometimes, fences a lot, moving in and out. And that's like really what Ponzinibbio does, man. Like, there's not much to it, man. And Carlston Harris, very janky. He has power in both hands. He has front headlock chokes. He hurt Ponzinibbio at one moment with a big right hand, very janky right hand, like half hammer fist, half straight. So very janky punch. But then on the third round, he started like losing focus, and Ponzinibbio just like 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and he started landing some huge 1-2s. And the stoppage here was atrocious. I think it was Mike Beltran, the referee here. Harris was dropped twice, I think. He was getting hit with big shots, but he was allowed to get up back to his feet, and he was like answering with punches. He was the last guy to land a punch in this fight before the stoppage, so that's never a good look, right? The refereeing was sketchy, like, all around for this. But yeah, I mean, good for Ponzinibbio to get a win. It seems like he wants to fight Vicente Luque now, which, like, very interesting, right? Very interesting. Because both guys are so washed, but now both have like wins over guys that are like relatively relevant in the division, like not top 15 material, but like guys that are usually winning fights, Carlston Harris and Gorimbo. So yeah, I guess that's the right fight to make. It is whatever. Abdul Razak Al Hassan fought Cesar Almeida. Crazy fight. So Hassan hurts Almeida with a straight down the middle, drops him pretty bad. But Almeida looked like he was there the whole time. So he works his way back to his feet, and Hassan goes to town, man. He just goes hard at it. He just tries to hit him so hard with everything he has. And Almeida hit him with a counter left hook, like cartoonish stuff, man. Like he loaded up, he put like both his hands together, and he unloaded with a beast of a left hook, and he put him out so bad. It was like a huge knockout, man. Hassan was out so bad. I was expecting Cesar Almeida to win, to be fair here. Like, Hassan is pretty old. He obviously has huge power, and he showed that. But if they were going to like be in a striking bout, I always thought that Almeida had the advantage, even though he has the same tendency that his former kickboxing foe Alex Pereira had in kickboxing. And it's like when he's not sure if it's a takedown of a strike, he kind of freezes in place. And I feel like that's why he got hurt here. and we saw him face similar troubles against Kopilov, right? Kopilov, who we will be talking about in a bit. Actually, right now, because Chris Curtis fought Kopilov, and very cool fight. So this was Southpaw versus Southpaw, just like Hassan versus Cesar Almeida. I mean, Cesar Almeida switches, right? No, Cesar Almeida was orthodox for most of the time, but yeah, this was Southpaw versus Southpaw action. So my read before this fight was like, okay, Chris Curtis is not very good at pressuring, but he's very good in the pocket. Kopilov doesn't like pressure, but he's good when you allow him to move on the outside. But at the same time, he has some deficiencies when he's pushed back. So maybe Chris Curtis could make the most out of his burst of moving forwards, because you know he's not like a pressure fighter. He has trouble like cutting people off, but maybe he gets into his face, he can get success. And we saw a little bit of both of that. I felt like first round, Chris Curtis getting his reads, blocking a lot of shots, staying safe. And then it was... But Kopilov with a lot of volume. And again, Southpaw versus Southpaw, Kopilov very active with this very snappy jab. Not doing a lot with it, but just pestering Curtis. And Curtis doing good stuff, especially with the double and the triple jab. And marking the face of Kopilov. Then second round, Curtis starts cooking, man. He starts going to the body. He starts like jabbing him off. Landing some like naked left straights that Kopilov was having trouble seeing, and even some nice snap kicks to the body. So Curtis complete control for a while during that second round, and then he gets fouled twice. It was like the classic, the dick, getting kicked in the nuts and getting an eye poke, and he, Chris Curtis, bit of a head case. I love the guy, but this is true, and man, he just fell apart after that. You can tell that he was frustrated, he was losing focus. And Kopilov, to his credit, he got right back into the fight. He started moving a little bit more. That was what was giving Curtis trouble. He started like breaking his patterns of movement to attack in straight lines, to pester Curtis here and there. So Kopilov did a good job. And then at the end, like both guys super tired. Curtis tries to pressure for a little bit, but both guys are clearly tired. And Kopilov lands a head kick. Curtis goes to block, but the toes sneak and hit him like behind the head. He gets rocked super bad, stumbles to the floor. There's like 2 seconds left in the fight, and the referee stops the fight. So controversial stoppage. It was weird stoppage. I don't feel like he should have stopped that. Referees are not supposed to take into consideration if how much time there is in a fight, but at the same time it was a weird stoppage. But at the same time it didn't matter, because I think like it was like kind of clear that Kopilov won the first round and the third, so he was going to win regardless. So big win for Kopilov, man, and I feel for Chris Curtis, especially because like on one hand you need to know how to deal with the fouls, right? You cannot allow them to get into your head and lose focus during a fight. But at the same time, like getting fouled fucking sucks, man. So I feel for Chris Curtis. Austin Bashi versus C-Rod, my boy. So I predicted this one a long time ago when I was watching the Bashi. I have told this story so many times, so you guys are probably bored about this, but when Bashi was fighting in Contender Series, I was like, oh, this is exactly the kind of guy that loses to C-Rod. And behold, the fight finally happened, and C-Rod, Bashi gave him hell, man, but C-Rod's so cool, man. He's just so good in transitions. C-Rod is not great at denying guys getting to his hips, but he's so good at defending takedowns and flowing. Once a guy gets to his hips, he just grabs the wizard and sprawls from there, or just flows, rolls into the ground. He gets reversals, knees and elbows during transitions. He was jabbing Bachi at open range. He was evading his strikes. But Bachi, very aggressive, got to some like established top position. He established top position solidly a few times. So, I mean, Bachi is like a promising prospect, man, and so happy for C-Rod. he keeps fighting these like super monster grapplers prospects, and he keeps winning against them. So yeah, that's 3 already. And he took another undefeated record against Simon before just moving up to 145. So, and I feel like Zero is looking a bit bigger. So hopefully this is his weight class, because he's so fucking cool, man. One of my favorite fighters to watch nowadays for sure. Puna L. Soriano fought Uros Medic, and I was like, is Puna going to wrestle here? I guess he's going to wrestle. And no, he just shift. He just went left hand shift into wide right hand and put Uros Medic out. He put him out so bad. So good for Puna, man. And Puna is like a funny guy. I like him. He's like just a bro that is very athletic with a nice wrestling background. So I just enjoy watching Puna L. Soriano fight. He's not like the smartest sometimes, no shade there, but his cardio was a trouble a few times at 185, but I feel it was more of a mental thing. So I hope he's like finding himself now at 170, because it looks like a good division for him. He's like big, he's strong now at 170. So wishing the best for Puna, man. What else we had? Jose Johnson for Felipe Bunes, and very cool armbar, and that's like one of the disadvantages that very tall people have on the ground. They're easier to armbar, and very scrappy armbar, like the one that he just grabbed into that arm like a pit bull and just fought for it, adjusting the angle time and time again. More of a like going for it, more than the Mackenzie Dern armbar that was more of a methodical shit from the top, and just like forcing Ribas into defensive positions until she finally bait her into giving her the arm with the ground and pound, right? This was a lot more like very quick spin from the guard into the arm, and then just like twisting your whole body to find the right angle to finally extend the arm and get the tap. But good stuff, man, because I don't like this guy being 6 foot and being a flyweight, man. I'm just a salty short king that I can't make flyweight, even though I'm way shorter than this guy, so it makes me salty. But good stuff, man. Oh, the duelies had such bad luck, man. So he fought this guy that apparently he's the boyfriend of Norma Dumont, right? What's his name? Excuse me. I'm just going to. I am like blanking right now. So yeah, Marco Tullio, who looked pretty good, man. But yeah, Poteria got fouled twice. Hey, James Kendrick, happy to have you here. Happy for you to join the stream. I'm talking about Marco Tullio against the duelist that I know a lot of people hate. But yeah, I mean, I feel for the duelist because he has been getting fouled super bad in his last 3 fights, and he's now probably getting cut. On the other side, Marco Tullio looks dynamic, looks powerful, athletic for 185, so he's probably a good addition to the division. So yeah, Marco Tullio, good stuff. Thiago Moises for Trey Ogden. Moises had success early with the calf kicks, but then Ogden started like taking over, especially like he was like leading a lot with the inside leg kick and mixing the jab, the right hand, using variety, changing the tempo. So he was looking like the more like comprehensive striker for a little bit there. But then Thiago Moises just found the calf kicks again, and Trey Ogden was fucked, man. Like, and then Thiago Moises got to top position, and he's so good, man. Like, brutal ground and pound. He had some elbows. He was like kind of close to stop the fight during that second round from top position. And yeah, but then third round comes. It seems like Trey Ogden was dealing with an injured biceps. I don't know if that's the reason that he went for the takedown. But Thiago Moises won the scramble, ended up on top position, and that's a win for Thiago Moises. That's all she wrote. So good for Thiago Moises, man. Solid win, because it looked like it was being rough for him for a little bit. What else we had? Jacoby Smith made his UFC debut. He was very impressive in in Contender Series. He's an All-American Division 1 wrestler, so very high praise for him. I mean, a very high level wrestler. Against Preston Parsons, who doesn't have like a wrestling background, but he's a very solid wrestler of his own and a very well put together, well-rounded fighter. And it looked for a bit like Parsons was going to cook, but Jacoby Smith just went with a 2-3, a very ugly left hook because he was like extending his arm. But man, he hit him so fucking hard and he put him out bad. So Jacoby Smith is like a threat, man, because he's a very good wrestler on top of that. So yeah, very interesting prospect for 170. Ernesta Carrascaite had an interesting fight against Nicole Cagliari. I felt like Cagliari won, to be honest. Cagliari landing the bigger strikes, but Carrascaite having a very high output, making Cagliari uncomfortable. Cagliari also finding a few takedowns, but not doing much with them. It was a very closely contested fight. I'm interested in Cagliari moving forward, and Carrascaite is a very good addition to the division because she just gives so much output. She's so long for the division, so she's like an interesting puzzle, right? Bruno Lopez fought Magomed Gadjiasulov. Okay, I'm lagging behind with the pictures, but yeah, Bruno Lopez, he was kind of cool in Contender Series, especially when he found his groove at the end, going to the body with knees, with punches. And here, mostly out wrestling Gadjiasulov, which was interesting. But yeah, good for Bruno Lopez. Like, he's not great, but he's a good addition. He's a solid, well put together fighter, so he's a good addition for like heavyweight. Fanny McCline fought Victoria Dudakova. And this fight was like Dudakova being very insistent on the grappling, and Klein just being the better grappler and stronger fighter, and winning like that. So at the end, she found the stoppage with big elbows from half guard after getting a reversal. And the opener was Nurullo Aliev against Joe Solecki. Solecki took this fight in super short notice, like a week, and he made 155. He didn't even ask for a catch weight. And like Solecki's not huge for 155, but he looks to me like a guy that would need to lose some pounds to make 145. He's not small. And yeah, Solecki not defending the takedowns well. I feel like during the first round, Aliev got the first takedown of the fight with a headbutt. But other than that, like Solecki not doing much. And then Solecki won the third round, which is like a very bad look for Nurullo Aliev because I don't think Solecki was all there in the fight. Yeah, well, that was the event. The cool stuff was obviously like Thiago Moises with the calf kicks was alright. Puna getting a big knockout was fun. C-Rod, my boy, that was amazing. That was like probably the most invested I was during the night. Kobylov versus Curtis was a very good fight. A seal feel for my boy Chris Curtis. And Cesar made a huge knockout against Abdul Razak Al Hassan. So I'll get into some fight announcements. So let me check my notes here because I have the pictures, but I don't know if I remember all the names. But yeah, the first fight announcement. Giga Chikadze is fighting David Onama. So this is a very cool fight. This is going on in April, so still a while for that. But yeah, I mean, great fight. Onama getting tested against a very high level kickboxer in Chikadze. Chikadze getting up in age. I feel like he looked a bit old against Arnold Allen, but he still looked very dangerous. Onama can't get hurt, and Chikadze will hurt you. But Onama is a very good grappler too, and a decent wrestler, so maybe he will be able to get this fight to the ground because not a lot of people have been able to do that, you know? So who knows? Ricky Simon will be fighting Javid Basharat. This is at the end of February. I don't have a lot of hopes for Ricky Simon, especially against a guy that is longer and is also a good wrestler. So I don't think he has like a very clear winning condition here, to be honest. I'm not sure I like this fight a lot for Ricky Simon, but it's an interesting one. What else we have? Conor Logren is fighting Nathan Fletcher. Fletcher was on the Ultimate Fighter. I don't think I've seen him fight, but yeah, Logren. Uh, he needs to make up for a few lackluster performances, especially the one against Jake Hadley. He looked very flat. So yeah, Logran probably needs to win this if he wants to keep his spot in the UFC. What else we have? Asuan Babayev will fight Steve Erceg on March. That's a great fight, man. Erceg fans are very concerned because he's getting put through the ringer, but I mean, you gotta understand that he fought for the title. And Almabayev has been looking very solid. So I feel like this makes sense. Like, if you were Steve Erceg's manager, maybe you don't want to take this fight. But as a fan, I mean, this fight is great, so I'm not going to complain about that. Francisco Prado is moving up to 170 and he's fighting Jake Matthews. That's probably gonna be a banger. I wonder if Jake Matthews is going to try to wrestle in that one. Alexander Hernandez will fight Kurt Holobaugh. Alexander Hernandez is now like on the old guys part of the division, but this is a solid fight. This is a solid scrap because if Hernandez tries to wrestle, Holobaugh has a very good guard. Holobaugh should have a big advantage in the boxing, but if Hernandez moves around and kicks, it could get interesting. He will have like a speed advantage too in this fight. Maybe a strength advantage too. Like, Holobaugh is also a guy that used to make 145, so. What else? Oh, this one is a fucking banger, man. This one is a banger. Nathaniel Wood will fight Morgan Charrier. And this is going on at UFC London on March 22nd. So the prospect, Nate Wood, it's going to have the hometown advantage here. Fantastic fight, man. Fantastic fight. And Nate Wood fighting someone that is not that big. I feel like Charrier is still bigger than Wood, right? He is like very thick. but yeah, this fight is great because both guys are so good at everything and they try to do everything during fights. So I am very pumped about this fight, to be honest. And lastly, we have Damon Blackshear against Cody Gibson. So we have the lanky boys going at it. I'm rooting hard for Cody Gibson in this one. I've never been a big fan of. I mean, Damon Blackshear is solid, man. He's good, but it's not very fun to watch to me. I don't like his striking style. And he's so fucking big, man, for the division. At least Cody Gibson is going to be like similar to his size, so it's going to be interesting how the striking plays out. Blackshear more of a chaotic fighter and uses kicks, and he transitions to the clinch well. And Cody Gibson has like clean boxing, and he's a better wrestler, I feel. But then Blackshear is a tremendous scrambler, so maybe this looks like a crazy fight all around, man. Should be good. And obviously we have UFC 311 going on this Saturday. I'll go over the card, but obviously won't go into details because I'll be live streaming the full preview tomorrow. So what do we have? Our main event is Islam Makhachev versus Arman Tsarukyan, the rematch. Finally, Tsarukyan worked his way up to the title with only one loss since Islam Makhachev, a very controversial decision against Mateusz Gamrot. After that, Tsarukyan has been on fire with a very impressive win against Charles Oliveira in his last out. I scored that one for Tsarukyan, by the way. Huge knockout over Benil Dariush. The comeback against Joaquim Silva after getting hurt. And dominant against Ismagulov. So very impressive 4-fight win streak. And Makhachev coming off his win over Poirier, where he looked very good. So it's a great fight, one of the best that you can make at the sport. I know a lot of people are not fan, especially like people that follow me. I feel like many are not a fan of either of these guys, but I'm very excited about this one. This is going to be crazy. We'll have, these guys are going to scrap on the feet. There's going to be crazy scrambles. So yeah, man, I'm excited, and I think Tsarukyan is has a better shot than a lot of people think. A lot of people are like, oh, Makhachev has improved a lot since then, and Tsarukyan not so much. I feel like Makhachev has improved for sure, but Tsarukyan probably has improved more. It's just that Makhachev, like, he's in these like super high profile fights and against people that are pushing him to the trim. So we see more of the depth of Makhachev, and I feel like Sarukian is not. He doesn't have the depth of Islam in the striking, maybe in the wrestling, man, and in the grappling either, in the jiu-jitsu part, but he's like a nuanced wrestler, and I feel like Sarukian knows how to push his advantages. But finding advantages against Makhachev is a problem, right? Our co-main is Merab versus Umar Nurmagomedov, and this is also a very cool fight. So a lot of like what is going on in this fight? Is Merab going to wrestle? Will he try his hand at volume striking and maybe mixing it up here and there? Umar to me feels like the cleaner striker. I'm not sure if the better wrestler, but maybe the better grappler. Merab is a monster of a scrambler, and Umar looks to be one as well. But I feel like Umar is more dangerous from dominant positions than Merab, so maybe it's on Umar's best interest to push the grappling. But fantastic fight, man. Jiri versus Jamal Hill. The big question here is, where is Jamal Hill? Like, where is his head at right now? Because I feel like Jiri, despite getting knocked out twice by Alex Pereira, I feel like Jiri is going to show up and he's going to be Jiri. I feel like Jamal Hill, people forget because he's just a salty dude on social media that he's a very good fighter, man. Especially for 205, he's one of the best in the world. So, good fight, man. Benil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. So I blew a lot of people's minds with the revelation that Moicano is only like two weeks younger than Benil Dariush. But yeah, the momentum cannot be any different. Like, Dariush is coming off two like huge of being finished twice brutally by Charles Oliveira and Arman Sarukian. So he's like out of contention, defending his spot. And Moicano with a great run. The submission, the rear naked choke against Brad Riddell, he looked fantastic there. The decision against Drew Dover that I felt was kind of sketchy. I felt like he lost that one. Then he had that comeback against Jalen Turner where he got hurt bad on the first round, that came back very quick to get the finish on the second, I feel. And then his last one when he put on a clinic against Benoit Saint-Denis, very impressive, especially because he took him down, took his back, and dominated from top position. Benoit Saint-Denis, who is big and strong and a good grappler, so it was very impressive. So it's like a crossroads fight. Is Dariush going to retain his spot in the division as a like gatekeeper to the top 3 or something, or is Moicano like making himself a known commodity in title contention? We have Kevin Holland against Renier Derrider. Holland probably the better striker here. Derrider look kind of sketchy against GM3, but he's very tough and he's bigger than Holland. Holland, he can scramble, but Derrider is like a legit grappler, so I feel like this one is kind of dangerous for Holland. We have Bogdan Guskov against Billy Alekana, who is feeling on short notice. This was supposed to be Guskov versus Johnny Walker. This fight lost a lot of meme points, but still, like, it's Guskov. It's going to have action. Peyton Talbot versus Jaime Barcelos. Do not talk about me about this fight. I like Peyton actually, but man, why do they have to sacrifice my boy? Jailton Almeida gets the wrestler test again. He's like 1-1 against the wrestlers of the division. He lost to Curtis Blades, won against Romanov, and now he gets Romanov's fellow countryman, Moldovan Sergey Spivak. Spivak, I feel like, is like has a more sustainable wrestling style for MMA than Romanov, and it seems to be a better grappler in the mat. So maybe this is interesting. We have Zach Reese against Asamat Bekoyev. This is very last minute because Zach Reese was supposed to be fighting Cedric Dumas. So I don't know who Bekoyev is. I need to study that. Grant Dawson is fighting Diego Ferreira. This fight is amazing, man. This is so good. We'll see if Ferreira can pull off again what he did against Rabetsky. Or this will look like Gregor Gillespie versus Diego Ferreira, where Ferreira was like defending and doing the damage, but he got tired. We'll see. This is a big test for Grant Dawson, man, because he's fighting a guy that is very good on the ground, that will be able to scramble. He has been fighting like fellow wrestlers and the kind, and he has been seeing trouble at times and both guys like have gotten tired during the third rounds in the past, but at the same time both guys have finished fights late. Like that Rambeski was third round, and then if you remember, like Rand Dawson was got that third round against this Brazilian guy that used to beat everyone, Leonardo Santos. So hey, a very cool fight. Carol Hosa is fighting Aileen Perez. Interesting because Perez like mounting an impressive like winning streak, and defining herself as the wrestler of the division, kind of. Carol Hosa, who I always felt she's very solid. And looked very good in her last fight against Pani Jansen, but how is she going to defend takedowns? I feel like Carol Hosa is well put together, should be able to defend takedowns, but who knows, man. Rinya Nakamura is fighting Muin Gafurov. So, Gafurov banks on the feet, and he's like a good scrambler. Is he the good scrambler enough to get Rinya Nakamura off him? Rinya Nakamura, the very decorated freestyle wrestler? Probably not, but crazy shit could happen in this fight because, man, Gafurov is a wild man, and he still has power, man. Ricky Turcios is fighting Bernardo Sopai, so not a big fan of Turcios, even though but he brings it. I hope that crazy Turcios shows up here, like pushing forwards, getting into crazy scrambles. And Sopai, who is like coming off one of the worst knockouts of last year, that flying knee at the knee of Vinicius Lockdog Oliveira. So interested to see like Sopai gets another chance to make a first impression here. And the opener, Tajiru Lambekov versus Clayton Carpenter. Very cool fight at flyweight between guys that can do a little bit of everything, but both are known as wrestlers and grapplers first. So, and that's the pay-per-view. That's the announcements. That's the review. Just wanted to bang out a quick podcast for you guys. Thank you so much for joining. I'll be back tomorrow with the full preview that's going live at a similar time than this. So yeah, again, thank you so much. Remember to, if you're watching on YouTube, remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video. If you're on any of the podcast platforms we are available on, just leave us a good rating if you can. Everything is appreciated. If you want to support with some money, you can head over to Patreon. We have a lot of exclusive content, more than 140 alternate commentaries, more than 40 exclusive breakdowns of different martial arts by different authors. So head over to Patreon. For just a few bucks, you can get access to a lot of cool stuff. So maybe try it for a month, and if you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. But anyway, I appreciate all the support. See you guys tomorrow. I'm Feño. I'm signing out. Bye.